Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, and this is how to use Mega Kangaskhan. Such a controversial Pokemon. It is one of the strongest Pokemon in the game, for sure. And even Masuda, one of the game's main developers, has also admitted that Kangaskhan is a bit overtuned. So that does create a lot of stir. Also, when you look at its stats, 125 base attack, not crazy, but it does get a huge amount of defense and hit point bulk, which means that even without defensive investment, it's an easy Pokemon for a 2-3 hit KO. And that means that it gets a lot of time to set up. And if we look at its typing, normal typing, we talked about normal typing a lot very recently. We already know the deal. Let's go into Pokemon Showdown, and this is how people use Kangaskhan. Big Mama. She goes and ruins people's day because of how fast she sets up. Idea is, set up with Fake Out, you have Scrappy, so that way you can hit Ghost, and then you can follow it up with Return, and then you use Power Up Punch. Now, this on its own wouldn't be a bad thing. Even with like 150 base attack, it wouldn't be a bad thing, except for the Parental Bond ability. Hits twice. It doesn't matter that it does 50% base power, but the problem here is that it hits twice. That Power Up Punch raises the attack by 1, which means you're getting a free Swords Dance while dealing damage, while having ultimate sash breaking potential. And then you look at its other stats that, with all this, you're going to have Parental Bond giving you a choice band that lets you change up your moves effectively. You're getting you're doubling your attack on that first go, which means now it's like, oh, you have 1,000 attack in one turn. And then you use Sucker Punch. So in 1.5 turns, you're outspeeding them with priority, with a huge amount of setup, with a huge amount of damage, and people just can't handle it. Now, I think Mega Kangaskhan is strong, but not as strong as people give it credit for, because if you burn it, it's pretty much done. That you can really slow down Kangaskhan by bringing just the right kind of Pokemon, that a lot of Ghost-type Pokemon wall out its main set with Fake Out, Return, Sucker Punch, Power Punch. If they're trying to throw out, anything that... If they're throwing out Sucker Punch, that's a free Will-O-Wisp. If they're trying to use Return or Power Punch, it's a free Switch-In. So you can kind of handle a Mega Kangaskhan well. And if you have a physically invested Pokemon, you can even endure their other sets. Their other sets, they'll run Crunch, Earthquake, Drain Punch, Ice Punch. They'll try to get some kind of coverage that sometimes you won't see Return even on a Kangaskhan. You won't see Fake Out. You might not... Power Punch and Sucker Punch are what make it broken. That, it kind of plays the game of, you gotta attack sometime, and I'll just one-hit KO you before you do that. So if we look at the other things, Crunch is good for handling those ghosts, Earthquake is great for Aegislash, Drain Punch, Ice Punch is overall good coverage, and a lot of people will run Kangaskhan a lot of different ways because of what they want to handle. In double battles, sometimes you'll see a Rock Slide. Kangaskhan is a magical Pokemon in double battles, that it runs effectively the same, that all you have to do is look for that opening to get that Power Up Punch, and then you just hide behind Sucker Punch with a supporting Pokemon, and you kind of win from there. So Mega Kangaskhan, strong indeed. But overall, it is a Pokemon that is not unstoppable. You can check it. You can sacrifice 2 Pokemon, which I believe is a fair trade. That if you're trading a Mega, that's how I see the game. That if you can outspeed a Kangaskhan and survive a +2 on the Sucker Punch, which isn't as hard as it may sound with another Mega Pokemon or with a bulkier Pokemon, and you can hit it really hard, you can get over a Mega Kangaskhan. It might take some sacrifice, it might not be fair, but you can get over your opponent's MVP. And I think that's where the trade-off comes in. That if you have your Mega and they don't after trading, I think it's a fair thing, because Mega Pokemon, you only get one. They're supposed to be that huge hit on the team. And, sometimes that any Pokemon can go 2-0, and I've been in battles where Kangaskhan doesn't do anything against me, and it ends up being a -1. Overall, Kangaskhan can be played many different ways, but it does have a lot of natural setup, so it needs to be respected. If you can't handle Kangaskhan the first couple turns, it just might 6-0 you. So it's a very back-and-forth Pokemon, and fortunately we might see some tweaking coming to it soon because, it's just ridiculous. If you see a Kangaskhan and you get scared, how about lightening the mood? Throw out Thunder. Make it a special Kangaskhan. Thunder's going to hit twice, have a 60% chance to paralyze. Blizzard, 20% chance to freeze. Fire Blast, 20% chance to burn. Not quite the exact numbers because it's like 2 multiples of 10. But overall, special Kangaskhan can be fun. Still has a decent amount of special attack. All those moves hit twice with a high amount of base power. And it could just be cool to see and have just the coverage. You have really excellent coverage between all of the moves, and you can make it work from there. So, lighten the mood with the not as intimidating, scary Kangaskhan for funsies. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and that's how you use Kangaskhan.